Yo, what's good? This is Germ, and you're listening to Ambiance podcast.
What up, people? Welcome back to Ambiance Podcast. Sitting next to the right of me, I got Germ, aka VZ Maestro.
Yo,
How you living, bruh?
Man, I can't complain. I mean, we're living in a crazy world right now, but
Yeah,
taking it day by day.
lots of shit going on right now. We're gonna get into that.
Yeah.
First question: how did you come up with the name VZ Maestro? How did that come about?
Damn. So VZ, kind of just like a little, I guess, initial for my last name, Viscara. Damn, that's the first time I ever let that out. And Maestro, I played soccer, my whole childhood. So playing as a midfielder, I always aspired to be Andres Iniesta, and they call him the Maestro. So I played center mid, and that was one of my like soccer idols for sure. So related it from like photo to and video to soccer, to my soccer days. So
Got you.
Maestro.
So soccer is like your other passion outside of shooting.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I played soccer since I was, I think, like 3 or 4. My dad for sure put a ball on my feet.
Okay. When did you start getting into photography?
Man, I'd have to say like 11th grade, I tore my knee. 11th grade going into senior year, I tore my knee.
Playing soccer?
Yeah, playing soccer, and I wasn't able to do anything. I wasn't able to, no running, no training, none of that. So just started taking photos with my iPhone. And that was back in the day when Instagram was just getting started and people were, actually posting Instagram photos, like right then and there, editing on your phone and posting right then and there. And yeah, that's kind of like where it begun on my iPhone. My homie John, shout out to him. He had a camera and he was kind of just like, yo, let me shoot you. And he would shoot me. And I was like, I mean, I know model type stuff, but like,
Yeah.
He was just like, yo, let me create some stuff. And I'd watch him create. And from there on, it was kind of like, yo, let me borrow your camera. I know you're not using it. And then from there on, kind of just went on from there. And now we're here, like almost 10 years later.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
They say, I heard like some like inspirational book, whatever, that it takes like 10 years to like master a craft.
Yo, man, those 10,000 hours, and I'm
10,000
and I'm
hours.
still not even close. But yeah, for sure, it takes consistency.
Do you ever take time to like think back from like where you first started to where you're at now and just like realize how far you've come?
Oh man, it's crazy to think, to not having a camera, to now having, a few $1,000s worth of gear, and not having to rent anything, not having to take anything from anybody. Super grateful for it. I can't complain.
Yeah. And then all the places that it's probably taking you to, right?
Yeah, from soccer to photo and video. A lot of traveling.
Yeah.
A lot of traveling.
What are some of the places you've been to?
Soccer took me everywhere, to be honest.
Oh, soccer did.
Yeah,
So like
soccer took me everywhere.
you were like touring for soccer or what?
I was playing for the U.S. national team for a little bit.
Oh shit, so you were nice too. You weren't just like playing, you were nice with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
My dad made me work, man. He was
did?
like, yeah, he was definitely like, if you don't work hard, don't even bother doing it. So whatever I put my mind to, if it was either basketball or soccer, those were like my two passions growing up. It was just work hard, or like I said, don't do it. So he just made me work, and yeah, from 15 to 18 is when I was like getting scouted and playing for the U.S. national team. So
That's dope. So you obviously that's translated into your career with photography and videography and everything. You've taken that same mindset, right, from playing soccer and how hard you worked and taking that to what your current art, right?
oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I feel like sports teach you a lot, just like life lessons.
Yeah.
Like just work hard, and I feel like you can achieve stuff, and shit isn't given to you if if you don't work hard for it. Your spot can be taken.
Mm-hmm.
You can relate that to other positions at work, and just like adulthood. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. I think one of the best examples of that is like Kobe, with like how fucking raw he was at playing basketball, and retired and like a year later won an Academy Award. Like
That man's
he
a
what he did
legend.
is like he took the Mamba mentality and just translated it to film.
That man's a legend, man. I R.I.P. to the legend, man.
Yeah.
Shit.
How did that death hit you when that happened?
Nah, man, cried.
You cried real shit?
My best friend Nick, he hit me, and I was in denial. I was in straight denial, and for like the first few hours, and I was like, I'm not even trying to fully get into it because it still hurts. But yeah, man, it fucking hurt.
Yeah, it was one of those things where just like you're always gonna remember like where you are when it happened and what you felt when it happened, the emotions that you were feeling.
Yeah, bro. I was at my last apartment, and I still remember. I walked outside. It took me a minute. It's still, it's still a little unbelievable to me. So.
Of course, this whole year, man, has been fucking crazy, unbelievable. From that to the COVID shit to what's going on right now in the world with the racial injustices.
Man, I can't even believe it. I mean, it's something we see every day, but I'm super grateful that there's so many phones and so many people that are out there, protesting and, trying to make an effort because we're so fucked up from our past generation.
100%.
So trying to change that is a lot for young kids, but I'm super grateful for it,
Yeah,
so
definitely. Definitely. How have you been coping with mainly the COVID thing? Because I know that must have impacted your career a lot, just with tours that you may have had scheduled, shoots, gigs, everything like that.
Yeah, was about to go on tour with back on tour with Snow. She was about to go back on her. We were on her mini tour a few months back, but we were about to go on her full tour. That got pushed. Oh, dude, everything work related got completely canceled, pushed back. Like, clients are like, we don't know when this project is coming back. So, yeah. I mean, luckily, thank God, I saved. Like, super
You're
grateful
ready for
that
it.
my dad was just like, yo, you better have money, So, you worked for shit to hit the fan.
Yeah.
Like for times like these.
Yeah.
That's what you work for, is to save. So you got to be smart with it, especially here in LA, man. Mm-hmm. They don't play with rent.
Nah, not at all. We were talking about that off camera.
Yeah.
These apartments complexes will fuck you over real quick.
Bruh,
on your bread.
It sucks.
But it sounds like your dad had a pretty big influence on you. He taught you a lot of good habits that you've taken with you, right?
Yeah, he was tough. I mean, you take the good with the bad, Like,
yeah.
he had an anger problem, and that for sure got passed on to me, too. So, gone to therapy for that. So,
dope.
Got to be super grateful for everything he's taught me. But, not everybody's good. But, just learn from him and trying to learn from here on out. Therapy teaches a lot. So, being super thankful that I could be in therapy and that therapy could teach me and stuff like that too.
When did you start going to therapy, and what made you make that decision to like seek that type of help?
Dude, in high school, me and him went because we had a terrible relationship.
Oh, really?
Well, like we had a good relationship, but like when the good was good and the bad was bad, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was like the soccer, as a kid, you don't get being pushed that hard,
Mm-hmm.
Like there's certain parents that like push you to an extent, but there's parents that like are like, yo,
yeah,
there's no stopping. You better do it at 110 or don't.
Like OD with it.
Yeah. So my dad was sometimes a little crazy with it, but it got passed on into like other things. Like I work hard in everything, so he taught me a lot. But there was definitely that bad. So that relationship was kind of wounded a lot, and it was like middle school, high school. We went to therapy for like 3 years, maybe 4 years. It helped our relationship a lot. It probably lets us talk now. Like we have a great relationship now, don't get me wrong, but
right.
Those years of therapy were for sure crucial for our relationship now.
Yeah,
because it was just, that's us going through like our childhood, like really going through puberty that age,
yeah,
like 8th, 9th, 10th grade.
Mm-hmm.
You don't, you're like this little kid thinking you're a man. Like my dad's like, shut your ass up, kid, grow up. Like, so.
Yeah. I think that's pretty rare for somebody to go to therapy that young. Usually you don't seek like mental help for like, I feel like till you're grown and you realize that you've had things you need to,
It wasn't me for sure. It was my dad that was like, yo, you need it. Like he thought I was on drugs. He was it was just because my attitude. But he was like, nah, you're on drugs, blah blah. He would like drug test me every month. But like I said, I was just like kind of like a star athlete. I was like, man, I'm never touching weed. I'm never drinking. I'm never doing any of that. Like I was just like this, like, yo, money on like
Tunnel vision.
Going pro. And he was just like, oh, you got this attitude. So that's why we initially started, because he just thought that my attitude was coming from somewhere else. So it was more him and my mom being like, yo, I never had a problem with my mom, but
yeah,
it was just my dad was just like, yo, we need to go. So we ended up going, and I mean, thank God.
Yeah,
thank
definitely.
God, to be honest, for sure.
That's dope, man.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people don't take emphasis on their mental health, you know. And this, I think, for everybody, if you're tuned into this, if you're tapped into this, we've all had a hard time with this COVID shit. It's been an adjustment for all of us. Nobody was really ready for it, but it's cool to hear that you were saving up for it, because a lot of people financially weren't prepared for this shit. And I have so many homies, and like you do probably too, in the creative industries, that like are shit out of luck.
Yeah, man, it's a scary world to have something like this, and you know, I can't imagine some people. I mean, I know a lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah,
you know, but it's just like it's scary to not have an extra few $100s to pay rent, and then, man, people in LA are getting screwed with rent. I mean, I can't get that enough through to our damn government, but damn, man,
that rent control needs
to come, please.
Yeah,
baby.
Please.
Shit.
I feel you on that. Transitioning a little bit back to photography. So you talked about when you first got started, kind of how you got started. When did things start taking off for you, for as far as like your career?
Where would I say? It would definitely have to be, I mean, I was definitely inspired, like, you know, those early 2010, 2011. I graduated 2011, so that gives perspective on, like, when I started. I started about 2010. Shooting on my iPhone. And I would say it took me a solid, I mean, you know, you do your weddings and you do your real estate stuff, and shout out Craigslist, got me hella jobs, so taught me a lot. Shit? Swear to God, like, bro, it's just a hustle. Like, if you're not gonna find work through like people that you know, or like through clientele, or through networks, or through whatever, you're gonna have to find a route. So dude, I was shooting dog leashes, and I was shooting like product shots of like jewelry, and just like a bunch of stuff that was super boring to me, but it was getting me bread at the time. So it was just like, hey, if I can get this job and this job and this job, it could lead me to that. So like, it was kicking a little bit back in the day, but it still wasn't making me enough, you know, to be able to move out, or nothing serious to like make real upgrades. I was just shooting on a Canon 6D. As soon as I graduated is when I copped that Canon 6D, and I was shooting on that for until about 2018. Is when I upgraded.
Damn, that's
so
a good
it was
minute.
a solid like 7-8 years with that camera.
Wow.
Dude. So that thing got me through a lot, from real estate to weddings, like I said, to to everything that I was doing right before I upgraded to the Sony. But there's just like, I mean, there's so many different points, but like really freelance, like, you know, going was, I'd say about 2017, where I felt like I could quit my job and keep it going. You said
you were working at Baja Fresh, right?
So early on, I worked one of my first jobs was Baja Fresh, and from there on, I ended up getting offered a job with he goes by the name of Steven Vanasco, used to go by Van Styles. Ended up assisting him for about a year, and then after that ended up working at Cheesecake for about a year. And from there
or something.
I was doing hosting at first. Yeah,
you got that customer service then.
Yeah, man, learning how to talk to people and doing all that. So it taught me a lot. And then from host, like a few months in, I ended up doing food running, and I was like, yo, man, there's some money in this. You know, there's tips, there's this, and I was like, but I was still doing my because I was doing it in Beverly Hills, so some people left some fire tips, and you know, sometimes you can be content with that restaurant life.
Yeah.
I mean, you can be content with any type of money you're content with that money,
Yeah, you could be stuck in some job that you may not love, but it's bringing you good bread, and next thing you know, 10 years pass you by, and you're like stuck.
And there was a lot of people that I saw that are 10, 15, 20 years older than me, and they're like, man, if I were your age, I'd get out of here. Like, you're making good money at your age, but it's just like, at that time, it's like, damn, I'm making good money, but it's like, do I like this?
Yeah.
So that's when I was just, I was getting, like I said, I was doing other jobs. On weekends, I was doing, like I said, weddings. On off days, I was doing real estate stuff.
What year was this?
2017.
Okay.
Even 2016, I was doing this. I worked at Cheesecake, I'd say, like a year and a half.
Yeah.
So I was getting consistent jobs with that, but one of my homies kept on tossing me a gig with True Religion and Russell Westbrook.
Oh shit.
So I did that like 3-4 times within my job, and I was like, at one point it was like the second time in, he ended up having me come shoot again, and he goes, yeah, this might be consistent of you coming in to shoot Russell. And it was just coming in to shoot him at HQ. It was nothing big, but it was like, it was a nice check. It was what I made at Cheesecake in 2 weeks.
Damn.
And I just came in and shot him for like about an hour or so.
I feel like having those type of jobs where you're making good money because it's restaurant tips and everything like that.
Yeah.
But you realize, like, I just made in that situation in one day what I make in 2 weeks, and it makes you appreciate that money so much more because you know how hard you had to work while you were at Cheesecake, right?
Bro, it's crazy. It really made you think, like,
yeah.
But working at Cheesecake, you never knew you can make that money, like True Religion shooting like that.
Yeah.
I didn't know I could make that bread because they just hit you with the budget, and it was just like, hold on, what?
You didn't realize that you could make that much money doing?
Well, not that early on, because at that point I wasn't getting like budgets like that. Like, I knew weddings paid well because you spend a full day with them and whatever.
Yeah.
But I never got I wasn't at the point where I was getting campaigns or anything like that. So once I saw that check, I was like, yo, this might be the move. Because it's something I enjoyed. I was like, yo, athletics, like sports and photo, I was like, this is tight. Like, my two worlds are colliding. Somehow it came back to my two loves,
Yeah, full circle.
Yeah, and then I'd say, like, second time around when I shot Russell, it was like I thought about quitting. Third time around, my job didn't let me.
What you mean they didn't let you?
I found out about the job super late. So I found out about shooting him, and they're like, hey, he comes in tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
And I was at work that day, and it was super early, and I'm like, yo, man, I need the day off tomorrow. And he's like, so find your sub. So I was texting all my coworkers. Nobody could cover because it was so last minute. I end up just not showing up to my gig.
You just pulled a no-show?
Yeah. They were pissed. They were everything. But I told them, I'm like, if you're not going to give me the day off, I'm going to quit. And they were super pissed because they didn't have, food runner for that day. And yeah,
you got to though.
That was my last day at Cheesecake.
Oh,
bro.
Really? So that's what made you quit.
I never came back.
You just didn't come back. You're
Nah. I came back to sign my papers to leave to get my last check, and I was like.
So was that your last
retail 9 to 5?
9 to 5 job?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Sure. Yeah, it was surreal to think about. Like, my dad was like, "What the fuck are you doing, man?" But it worked out.
Yeah. So was that? I was gonna ask you that too. Were your parents ever worried about you pursuing a career in photography and visual arts? Because I feel like a lot of parents of anybody in a creative industry are really against their child pursuing something like this because they're all they know is the Industrial Revolution where you need a concrete job that has benefits and this and that, so they get scared a lot when people try to pursue their dreams.
Oh yeah, for sure. My mom was a little more free spirited and follow what you love. I'm happy that you're happy, but you better make that bread,
Yeah.
But my dad was my dad's always been. He's a hard ass worker, and he's explained it to me since I was young, and I knew he grew up on the farm in Mexico and how he worked, and that's why I ended up going to Cheesecake.
Okay.
Because of the fact that he was he ended up working at Denny's when he was in high school. Around that age. And that's what he was like, hey man, there's a lot of money in that and blah blah blah. And then once I started making that money, and that's when he was like, yo, see, there's a lot of money in that. So getting my dad's approval there working, that's where I was like, oh, okay. But then that's when I quit, that's when he was like, yo, like this I don't know what you're gonna do, you're probably gonna have to find another job. But it was my mom who was supportive, so I was like, yo, as long as I'm happy, I'm gonna work hard. And I was still on Craigslist then too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like, I mean, it wasn't all like glitz and glamour. I mean, I still had my fair share of like dope artists that I'd work with and things like that. Thankfully, like I've had Selection since college, since Andres, because I met Andres in college. But like, like those are just shows every so often that you shoot.
Did you meet him in because I remember when I had him on the show, he talked about how he was in Santa Monica College, or was it a different place? SB.
Yeah, Santa Barbara.
Santa Barbara.
Yeah. So he was in Santa Barbara. My homies went to Santa Barbara too. And I was like shooting over there, and then one day I met him through one of the homies, and he had a Selection sweater on. I shot a photo of him. It's literally still my SoundCloud background.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so it's so funny.
Dope.
So it's just a small world, and we ended up kind of just like chopping up back in college, and went to a few shows back in the day, and I was like, yo man, can I shoot for y'all? It was a few years shooting for free. But I didn't mind that. It was just me getting better, and they gave me the opportunity to get better with them, and it was cool to see their growth. So it's tight. I'm super thankful.
And
for
you've
Andres,
grown with
man.
them at the same time, like.
Yeah, man. I'm grateful for them to have me there, because they've definitely taught me a lot. Their work ethic, Joe, Andres, Andre, literally the creative team, fucking Wes, Ricky. Got to shout out literally all of them for all that.
Yeah, that's cool as hell. I want to go back to something you said earlier. How you started off shooting real estate, weddings, a fucking dog leash.
Yeah,
like,
bro, that
I feel like
shit.
that's so important for people to hear, especially if you're tapped into this and you're just starting off with photography or anything in relation to that, because people might see you now and see like, damn, Germ's getting all these dope ass gigs. Like,
nah, man.
They didn't necessarily see that that's what you had to do at first,
I mean, sometimes you got to do what you got to do to get that extra bread, and you want to get that. I mean, I'm not bougie, but I try my best to invest in very good gear. I know the gear don't matter. Sometimes I can shoot something on some film and make it look fire, but it's finding a way to, use the gear that you got and being able to make it dope. Like,
Yeah.
So you just got to find a way to do it.
Yeah, you have to. You got to make something out of nothing sometimes.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask you that too. That's funny that you said that, because what do you think makes a successful photographer? Is it the network, or is it the skills?
I mean, I think it's just a combination of a lot. I think it's consistency. You got to be a people person. You got to work hard, man. The shit ain't easy.
Yeah.
It ain't easy. But like, once you're in, you're kind of in there, but you got to keep on working. But it's a lot of hard work, and I feel like this day and age, a lot of people just, they want to be given, the opportunity instead of work for it. And it's just, I want to see people just work. That work ethic means a lot to me. And I mean, there's a combination of a lot of things, I mean, sometimes you just get lucky too. Sometimes
Facts.
you just grow up with the right people around you, and they put you on, and super grateful for that too. There's so many different ways. It depends what city you're in. If you're in LA, sometimes you have a little bit more opportunity than being in a little small city, but sometimes you can make those small cities pop for you too. Like, I know a lot of small people, don't even say small, but like people in small cities who are doing a lot of big shit, like starting their own production companies in small little cities or doing stuff like that. I mean, dude, even like, my first initial thing is what I wanted to do is just shoot real estate and weddings, because there's so much bread involved. Like shooting nice houses, shooting weddings every weekend. I thought there was just so much bread. And then, trying every little thing makes you realize what you do and don't like. So that's why I was like, okay, let me try product, because I had never shot product and I was tired of real estate. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe I don't like product. I like real estate a little more. So I kept on doing real estate, and I just kept dabbling.
Got you.
And then now I kind of know what I really do enjoy and what I don't enjoy doing. So it's pretty tight.
I love that. I love the fact that it kind of sounds like it happened so organically for you. You were just not necessarily getting into it for a certain type of reason. You were just working hard at it, and I feel like when you do that, shit just starts to fall in place for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's just that consistency, you know, like not wanting to fall off, wanting to shoot something every day, wanting to edit something every day, even if it was something that, you know, I didn't know how to do. I was like, yo, man, I could do that. Like, I saw a Craigslist ad, and I was like, oh, damn, I may not know how to do it, but I'd still apply, I'd get it, and I'd still try and do my best job, you know. Even if I didn't do it, I went at something for hours, and if I sucked, I tried, and it turned out the best I could, and if I ended up getting it, hey, I learned a new thing that day, you know.
For sure. So did you learn just through repetition and consistently like researching, or how did you learn to get to where you're at right now?
YouTube University.
I love that. And Andres said that too.
Yeah, I had a bunch of the homies, to be honest, like trial and error. Homies telling you some tips, asking a bunch of people. Like, I got a dude named Claudio. He runs a brand named Lavender.
Okay.
He's super dope in Photoshop and everything. So any Photoshop question, I got him.
Using your resources then.
Yeah, I usually have somebody who I can, like, if I'm really, 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 like, desperate and I can't find it and I'm like, you know what, I'm frustrated, I'll run to them and I'll be like, hey, man, think you can help me out? And they'll always be there for me. So I'm super thankful to have, you know, surrounded myself with like-minded creatives.
Yeah, but so, you try your best to figure it out on your own before you
I try, because then at that point, you know, you can always try and, you don't gotta outsource that again, because if I hear it from him, sometimes I'll forget. Like, when I ask him for something, I'll forget about it. When I try and shortcut it and I don't look it up and it hit him, I'll forget what he told me.
Yeah.
Because you're not trying it real quick. I feel like I'm more of I gotta try it real quick, you know, hands on, try it real quick, and I feel like I'll be better to remember that sequence, or, you know, to go edit here, file here, this, there, you know.
Yeah, so. No, that makes sense. I feel like everybody has a different mind. Everybody learns differently.
Yeah.
And like you said, just asking him and him doing it for you, it's like a Band-Aid. Like, all right, you did it for me, but next time I'm fucked again.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to ask you again. It's like, yo, let me remember it. But yeah, if I ultimately get frustrated, I finally learn, I'm like, okay, ask him for a tip. You'll remember how to do it because you're frustrated at this point. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
definitely.
So it's pretty cool.
FSO, man, figure shit out. That gets me through.
That's a fact.
That's definitely, bro. Like, that gets me through a lot. Cool. Well, so you've shot so many different types of genres, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
What is now that you've gone through so many stages, what is your favorite thing to shoot? I don't even know if that's the right way to say it.
Please, no client discriminate me. Sports, for sure.
Your favorite?
Hands.
There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, you can, as long as you don't say my least favorite thing. Because we won't talk about that.
No. Yeah, that's a fact. That's a great moderation.
Yeah.
But yes, I would have to say sports number one. I shot like some NFL stuff.
Hell yeah.
For LAFC, shot some stuff. You gotta go to one of their games.
Really?
Man. Their crowd is crazy. One of my favorite. If a European crowd was ever in the States, that'd be the crowd.
Really?
Yeah,
it's like that?
It's super, and you gotta sit in the north end.
The north end.
Like, that's where the crowd is. The 3252.
The rowdy people.
Yeah, bro. It's crazy. It's a wild crowd. It's amazing though to see that atmosphere here in the States. So
it kind of sounds like the Raider games,
bro.
Like Raider, that north end zone is just like all the
real
redheads.
Yeah.
Throw beer on you and shit.
Exactly. That's exactly what happens on goals. So yeah, I'd have to say sports number one. I think sports and music would have to go. Music would be not even 2. It'd be like 1.5,
like almost tied.
Yeah, those would be top 2 for sure. Just because I'm so involved with music, you know, like, who doesn't love music? It helps you with everything, you know. On my run, playing soccer and doing everything, you can't go wrong with listening to music. And, you know, it's dope, all these stories and everything you hear. Like, I'm involved with it on the selection side, so I get to see it with them. So it's super cool.
Yeah,
super thankful.
Very well connected in the music world, right?
My friends are, not me.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
Nah, man. I try and stay like a fly on the wall. Like, it's cool that I'm like, you know, get to introduce myself and I'm in these spaces, but I definitely try and keep myself beside everybody, because I know they're there for their reasons and I'm there for mine. So
yeah,
as much as I I love that people respect my work. I definitely try and be that fly on the wall still around people for sure.
Got you. Is there like a art to like what you're shooting? Because obviously there's some moments that like artists don't want you to shoot. Is there like how do you decide what is like, okay, like this is just needs to be a moment that's not like archived versus something that like you like, yo, this is a dope moment?
I think more when like you've been with the artist. I think it's a little easier for you to decipher like
developed a relationship with them.
Yeah, like it's a little easier for me to decipher like, what to shoot with Selection over what to shoot with an artist that I'm just getting to know at a venue or at like a concert or something, because usually if you're shooting somebody at like a venue or concert, you only have a few seconds to snap something or take video of something, so you're just gonna snap away at that. But usually, if I'm traveling with Snow, or that these moments are good moments for them, or these moments are do good on social, or you got to be smart with what you post, how to attract people, how to attract attention, listeners, viewers, just got to be smart. So just trying to think about like what's the coolest way to present something, more or less.
Okay. How about traveling, man? Because you've gone to some pretty amazing places. Photography or your visual art has taken you to some pretty dope places. So talk about like some of the places you've been.
Man, shout out Selection, shout out to Snow for
those tours.
Yeah, for those tours. I'd have to say top would be South Africa. Was crazy. Selection the year prior had basically their own stage setup, which was super crazy. So they have a really big fan base out there. So
I've heard
that was like one of my favorite, being in Johannesburg, being out there just with the squad, hanging out, trying new food, seeing the culture, just seeing how it is. It's amazing. Like, it's definitely eye-opening. There, London, for sure.
Did you go to the Somerset?
Yeah.
Okay. I heard that was epic.
Man, it was amazing. The venue was amazing. It was one of my favorite venues that we've ever been to in my life.
It was like outside in that square, right?
Yeah, man. I don't even remember what that thing was called, man, but I hope to God that we go back. I hope to God. That it was amazing. Like, everybody's set was super dope. Lighting. Bryant was there for lighting.
Oh, he was?
Yeah. So
dope.
Yeah,
his shit
super tight.
You already know if the production was on point. If he was on the on the lighting.
Exactly. So
that's lit. Talk about that. Then like the crowds out there are like pretty insane, right? Like they give no fucks.
It's something different out there with the crowd. The energy there, here. I mean, every city got their own little thing to them. LA crowds suck.
I've heard that.
Sorry, LA. LA crowds just suck, man.
You think it's like everyone's trying to be like too cool? Like, no, I'm good. I don't.
Don't get me wrong. You got your fair share of people that are there to dance, to enjoy the time, then they're everything. But like some people are there to just like show face and to post on their IG that they're there. New York rocks a little more.
Yeah.
DC rocks. What other cities have we had that have been really good cities? Our brunches in any city have popped.
Yeah,
which have been super tight. But yeah, just overseas is different. Just different. Every show, there's it's just they're musically. I think they're musically ahead of us on that side.
Yeah.
In Europe, but yeah, for sure. There's a lot of artists I feel like on that side that we got to get put onto for sure.
Really?
Yeah.
That whole sound of like garage, like it's starting to come to like.
Yo, Jared Jackson knows all about it, man. That's the man that you got to speak to about fucking.
I've been talking to him, man. I'm trying to get him on the show. If you're listening to Jared, let's figure it out.
Hey, man, I'm gonna get you, Jared.
Yeah, let's get you on here.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's just amazing to see the whole, just every city's diversity, every country's diversity. I met a dude named Shaka Lion. He's a part of Selection too, but it was my first time meeting him going out to South Africa, excuse me.
Yeah. Man,
his sound is crazy too. Mm-hmm. Like, man, it's just, it's eye-opening too to listen to new sounds and do all that. So it's crazy. I'm glad I'm, open to new music.
Yeah, definitely. So your style of photography, is a lot different? Like, what do you think you makes your style so much different than like other photographers?
Oh no, I feel like that's a question I'd have to ask
Somebody else?
Yeah, like the audience. Like what? Like what? You answer that.
Yeah,
like,
all right.
What
for
makes
sure.
my stuff stand out?
Comment
like,
below. But I'm gonna say what I think about that too. Like, I don't know. I think like what you use like to edit like in post is definitely a big factor. Then obviously your eye, like you capture like some really dope moments. Specifically, definitely in music when you're doing shows and things like that.
Yeah.
Like, where did you learn to have that type of mind?
It's just trying to put so many things together, man. YouTube can teach you so much shit. You know, you can see stuff, you try and put it together. There's a lot of people who just try and like pick something and it's like, hey, I saw this guy do this, let's do that same exact thing, you know? Where I try, like, I'll see something and I'm like, okay, let me do that, but let me make this like this. Let me make it like 10 times cooler. Let me see if I can add this effect. Let me see if I can track it. So I just try and add like my own taste on something that I, you know, like I first got my like, you know, my boomerangs off just the inspiration.
Yo, those are
off a damn boomerang off IG.
Really?
You get what I'm saying? Like I've just gotten some cool boomerangs off IG, like off just a regular one. So I was like, I got inspired by it, and I was like, maybe this will work tight if I did it, but with like a high-end camera in slow-mo, you know, with people dance, you know.
And you use the tracking too. That's
so I just
dope.
kept on adding little things, but if you look back at the beginning, I would make the boomerangs, but I wouldn't track.
Okay.
So like it was just a slow progression of every time. Like at first it would just be photo gifs. Then it turned into video gifs. Then it turned into tracking video boomerang gifs. Like it just, there's a slow progression into everything. So like,
and then you got the audio in the background too, which is like another thing.
Thank you, Joe. Joe, they help me. The music, I mean, if I don't have music, bro, I just run to Joe and I'm like, yo, Joe, toss me a track. But yeah, the live sound from the shows, it makes it 10 times better having that too. So
yeah, that's something that Bryant told me too. And Bryant, shout out to you for saying this too.
Yes.
He said like the importance of touching all 5 senses, like as many senses as you can actually. So it's like noise, hearing, taste, visuals,
everything.
Smell, touch. Like
I feel like that's why people, like, you know, especially now, like if you're visually attracted, like I feel like you gotta have everything, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's for people to come back, for people to everything, you really gotta experience that.
It's all about that experience. For sure.
For sure.
So with that being said, is there like a part of photography or videography that you necessarily like don't like, but you still do it because you just have to?
I don't know. Can you give me like one example?
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of stuff, but like, I mean, of course I could deal with like, I hate dealing with clients. I'd want a manager, but then
there we go.
At the same time, I'm like, man, I don't want to pay that manager my percentage.
Give him a cut.
For partnership deal. So
yeah.
I mean, there's good with the bad, but if you give me a different example, I could try and think, but nothing at the top of my head.
Just like the long hours editing, doing the like grunge work, you know, the tedious shit.
So I could complain all day, but man, I'd much rather do that than fucking clock in and clock out of a job and drive somewhere and drive in and out. Like, bro, I'm in the living room and then I can go to my kitchen and cook at whatever moment I can, and then I can come straight back to that edit with nobody bothering me other than my dog. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like nobody's like on my, of course a client can be on my ass about, you know, timing and where's the draft and this and that, but like I'd much rather deal with that than me have to be like, all right, time to clock in. No, and in no regard am I dissing any 9-to-5s at all, because if you're there to pay the bill, man, if you can pay your bills, I commend you 150%. But me, for myself, I'd rather just work from home and be able to do my editing from where I want to be, in my office and in my space, you know?
Yeah.
And just not being told what to do or just something I don't want to do, you know? Because now I just do not take jobs that I don't want to do anymore.
Yeah, and I think that's really important for people to hear, because, and you could say something like that because you have that 9-to-5 job, so it makes you appreciate, and that's a great way to say it. Like, shit could be a lot different, it could be a lot worse. Like,
yeah, for sure. And I mean, you choose your own destiny, man. Like, if you want it, you can go get it. And if you live in LA, it's definitely doable.
Yeah.
There's so many connections. There's people that you grow up with that are working at the biggest companies that you know. So
Yeah.
directors working at Universal, working, just anywhere. There's so much potential. So
Yeah. LA's a great place to be.
yeah, that's a fact.
For networking and everything. But what advice do you have for anybody who's looking to get into to photography or any creative art like that? And what advice do you have for them?
Man, I would just, like I think I've said this word like 10 times: consistency. That's key. Hard work. I keep on telling everybody, just try everything. I know you're gonna hate some stuff. I hated some stuff, but it's just gonna make you realize what you don't like, what you're good at, what you're not good at. Shows you your strengths, your weaknesses, and there's so much that it teaches you. Your failures teach you so much. So I would just say try everything. There's no cheat code. I mean, your only cheat code, man, is growing up with a huge artist as your best friend. I think that's the only cheat code. Like, there's if you're like a creative, I don't know if there's any other cheat code. Like, know people, talk to people, network to people, network with people. Yeah, man, just be a good person. You never want to work with a dick. Just be a good person. I feel like that takes you a long way too,
Is there a lot of that in the industry?
You got your casual dicks here and there. Everybody, man. People just in the hierarchy, you
think it's like ego? Some ego gets to some people with the clout and shit?
Yeah, all the time, man. I got this following. I got that following. I got this accolade, and I got that accolade. And it's like, yo, man, just chill. We all working. We're creatives. Let's just work together. There's a lot of people who hate small-minded people, but you can't get through to them. You can't get through to them. So I'm not gonna sit here and kill myself over it.
Just be a good person.
Yeah, man. That brings you a long way, because you're never gonna want to. You never think about that dude who was a dick twice to work with them again. You're never gonna be like, yo, man, that guy was a dick, but I want to work with him again. Never, not twice.
No, sir, that's not gonna happen.
If that was my choice, I wouldn't do it. So
yeah, I feel that. If you could speak to like a young 16-year-old version of yourself, what would you say to him?
Head to YouTube.
Head to YouTube.
Yeah, straight up. It just teaches you a lot. I mean, if you're a young creative looking to do in this world, you could do film school. I'm sure there's so many people that would like do film school, but a young Latino, male, female, first generation, you don't really have that bread to go to film school, Yeah. So everything you can learn there, man, you can learn on YouTube. Yeah. Every single thing. Like, there's so many platforms that I use. Like, damn, man. Peter McKinnon is a YouTuber I watch. This guy named Matty Hapoya.
Take
this
notes
guy named,
if you're listening.
Potato Jet. Like, sometimes they're just like vlogish, but like they're very informative on like Premiere stuff, just tutorials, cameras, brand new cameras, lenses, gear, just anything overall. As related to like the dude named Parker Welbeck, like he has courses that you could take. Like, yeah, that's bread, but it's bread that you invest in. If it comes back tenfold for you in the long run, if you learn off of it, man, I think it's worth it. Who else? There's just so many people that you can learn off of, man. Like, YouTube is such a good creative hub, and it's free. It's free. You just gotta go through some YouTube ads, but it's free. So it's just like it can teach you so much. Anytime I like have a struggle, I'll go there and I'll usually find it out, or I'll run to Claudio.
That's great. Shouts out to Claudio.
Yeah, shout out.
Yeah, there's no excuse nowadays, really. Like, you have Google, you have YouTube, the information is there. You just have to have the motivation and the hustle to go find that information.
Yeah, man, you just gotta look for it. And like I said before, like, some people just want to sit there and want it given to them, but you just gotta look for it a little bit, man. These people are sitting there giving you information. Oh, one that I left out: Black with No Cream.
Oh yeah, I know about the podcast too, right?
Yeah, OG Ben. He was on tour with Schoolboy Q and Beyonce, and his assistant Dave Malave. Bro, crazy creatives, and they give out information weekly on just like, they give out like how to charge a client guides. They charge for that, but bro, $20 for you to teach you how to charge a client.
That's gonna you make that back like
What? Bruh, I'd ask my mom for those 20 hots so quick. But dude, there's just people giving out free information. Speak about stories on tour, speak about gear, just everything, bro. There's so many questions that like you ask that you think like, you know, just from simple questions being like, yo man, how do you reach out to an artist? He's like, well, find their managers, find their team, find the people that are opening. They just give out so much free information that we didn't have 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Our parents didn't have this 10 years ago. So we were running on dial up when we were kids. So it's like, we
Really
didn't have
true.
that, you know, like our parents didn't have this. So
yeah, man, social media plays such a huge part in the advancement of so many careers with creatives. It's insane. Like, could you imagine trying to like excel in like what you're trying to do like in 2005? Like you would have been great because you're good at what you do, but like it would have been a lot harder.
oh yeah, for sure. And then just think about where tech is going to be 10 years from now.
I can't even fathom that.
Like VR, like 360, like so many different types of like, you know, visual things that we're going to be experiencing at that point. So it's like, I can't imagine. It's definitely a world where I'd love for, you know, young kids to touch, because we're usually scared, especially kids of color. They're scared to touch this world because we don't know it, you know?
Yeah.
Not a lot of us are in it, and definitely want to see more people of color on this side and owning and doing all that for sure.
Yeah.
Especially Latinos. Like I see a lot of black creatives thriving, and I'm super happy for it, and getting their own agencies, and man, they're killing it. Absolutely killing it.
One of them is Joshua Kesey. He's ill, bro.
The top of my list.
Yeah.
Everything he's doing with Tonal, dude, amazing. Just so many. I know a guy in LA named Dante Marshall. He's such a great creative. Dude,
Sweatshirt Steve.
Dude, Steve's my guy.
Yeah.
I love everything they're doing over at Street Dream. Dude, so many people, so I love it. So soon my Latino creative is gonna be coming up too. So.
Yeah, well, you're a great role model for them, because when they see somebody that looks like them actually doing it, it makes them think that it's possible, you know?
That's all we gotta do, man. Joe Coy says that all the time.
Really?
If you ever listen to a stand-up.
The comedian?
Yeah, that's why he said. I think he did like an SNL skit, and he's like, I wore the Filipino flag on my chest for the fact that I want to know. Yeah, just to show that, you know, other little Filipino kids that you can do it too. So it's dope. You know, you just gotta put a platform for people to kind of show them that there is a route. That, you know, we don't just gotta do construction. We don't gotta hit the army. We don't gotta, you know, just do those hard jobs that our parents taught us to do. So
yeah, the young generation is smart, like Generation Z or whatever, like TikTok and shit. Whatever it is, like they're creative as fuck.
Yeah,
like,
no man, I gotta give it to him. That's for sure a route that I'm not touching, and I think I'm a little too old for. But
it's crazy to think that like you're an old head like that,
bro.
Like,
I feel so old because I'm
too.
like, I'm not downloading that app.
Exactly. But what do you do then to keep up with the times, like to learn new shit? Is it just YouTube basically? If there's something new popping up or a new feature where you're not familiar with?
I mean, I think you also have to learn to stay in your lane, unless you're that type of person who has like very adaptive work, you know, like that you go with the time type stuff. I feel like I have a certain style of like music and sports and lifestyle stuff where like I don't really gotta like teeter into TikTok and like the other apps, but like, you know, I'm definitely aware of what's going on. Just people like, you know, still aware, like people are getting crazy with the edits on there, and you could even learn off people on there, like some editing stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So some pretty cool creatives, and dude, you can learn from anywhere. Like any little video will teach you something. So
just stay in your lane.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, unless you're that adaptive person that's like very like, okay, I can grab onto this, I can grab onto that, but like I like where my work is at, and I'm like, I feel like I'm not content with where my work, but like I'm very happy on like where my work is headed. So like I'm staying in my lane for now until I feel like I need to make another move, you know?
Got you.
So
what do you have going on in the near future?
Definitely putting it into fruition, starting an agency for sure.
Oh shit, dope.
Yeah, just like a production house. Definitely want to have something within myself and the homies, and just start something that, you know, that I think that I've always needed for sure. Like I'm scared. Like who wouldn't be scared to like start something big? But it's like, I think those nerves are good nerves for sure.
Yeah, definitely. If it scares you, you should do it.
Yeah, like
It's
that.
cliche, but fuck.
Yeah, no, for sure. That and directing and
Mm.
yeah, just getting onto like I've definitely worked on like some small mid-level productions, and I definitely want to get to like those more high-end, you know, production side. And yeah, just want to learn more, to be honest. Always a student, so just trying to learn as much as I can and pass on as much as I can to other young creatives, because there's not too many. A lot of people like kind of like stick with their stuff, like you know, so I mean, I'm not gonna give my little sauce away on like how I edit, but I'll give y'all tips on other stuff.
Yeah, no, you drop some good knowledge, especially for people who aren't as like well versed in what's going on in visual arts.
Yo, man, I try and help out as much as I can, man. There's just too much information, and it's free.
Yeah, I love it. Just passing it on to the people.
Nah, for sure.
Do you think that you will ever like transition into something else, or do you think photography is like your shit for a cool minute?
To be honest, I don't do much photo. I do like 80% of my work now is video. Yeah, video work. Maybe in the future, not I see myself directing, not touching camera, you know, getting cam ops and, you know, getting a whole team, but I definitely feel like I have a lot more learning to do on the camera side of stuff.
Okay.
For me to start directing and do all that.
So this COVID stuff that's happening right now.
Yeah.
Obviously it was a lot heavier in March. Things are starting to open up or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you think that was kind of a blessing in disguise, where it allowed you to work on some stuff that you necessarily might not have had time to work on before? And
yo, bruh, I was so unproductive.
Really?
Like, I'm not okay. Like, I got back to my like initial like, you know, passions, which is soccer, and you know, I edited a bunch of stuff. I still low-key had work. Like, I had some partnerships going on still. Like, if you're a photographer, work on licensing deals. Because I have a licensing deal with a few companies.
And why?
Yearly. Just to promise you bread.
Okay.
So, shit, I hope I can speak about this. Love y'all, Serato. I have a yearly deal with Serato. I have a few other companies, but they've been like the longest terms with them. And we just, you know, we have a partnership, and yearly I give them photos for them to license out, and they're able to use for emails or for whatever I give them copyright to. They don't own any photos. They don't own anything. They just essentially own a year's worth of licensing. So I have that with a few different companies, and we work out deals on like, hey, you get 10 photos for this rate, or you get, you know, you give them a batch of photos. They end up choosing their final selects. You give them a rate, and bam, like you can work out that deal with them yearly. Because especially during this COVID time, like people were, you know, creatives are just sitting on hella photos, you know? So it's like such a good time to like, it was a great time to reach out to companies and be like, hey man, like I have photos that you can send on email blast. I have photos that you can be posting on your socials that you've never posted before. I have them just sitting on my hard drive. Would you want to license them? You can use them for promo, you know? So, and you know, so I've had that for a few years now. So that came in clutch. Beginning of March, that bread came in for Serato.
Oh, damn.
So, you know, that could pay rent for a few months, and then you have another deal, and that pays rent. So, you know, it's just a yearly income.
Different sources of income.
You always got to have that. Oh, that's definitely, you don't put all your eggs in one basket, for sure. That's what I tell freelancers, because a lot of people tend to, you know, work with one client, stay with that one client, and then when that one person leaves them, they're shit out of luck.
And that limits your potential too.
So that's why dabble, keep the network, always tap in, you know. You got, like I said, you know, keep everybody, you know, close enough with for your clients, you know. So got to be smart with that for sure. But regarding with like COVID stuff having to do with like coming back to work, more or less is what you're asking. I mean, stuff now is, you know, finally getting back. Like it picked up about 2 weeks ago. on my terms. You know, we're still working with masks and
Yeah.
all that, being super precautious, and shot like my boy Skinny. I don't like shooting music videos, but I shot one for my boy Skinny. It actually releases today.
It's June.
June 19th.
It's June 19th today.
Juneteenth.
Okay.
Shout out.
Juneteenth. Honestly.
Juneteenth. Shout out. Should be at Limerick Park, but
Oh yeah, that's
shout
today,
out.
huh?
Everybody stay safe.
Yeah.
But yeah, shot a music video for him. My homies have some music studios out in Tarzana, so I've been shooting those. Just staying tapped in with like local people, doing jobs, you know, here and there. Still doing some other stuff with some artists, and you know, just staying tapped in. Everybody's locking back down, and things are gonna pick up quick for everybody, man.
Yeah.
So I can't wait.
Is it kind of, are you kind of worrisome though about still like COVID, or is it like it's weird, bro? Like
Man,
you're excited to get back to it, but it's like fuck.
I'm excited to get back because of the simple fact that like I'm not on some big ass sets, so I don't have to deal with hella people on set. So like the other day on the music video, it was just me and the artist. You know, it was like me, I shot the studios. It was alone. I had them clear the studios completely. It was just me alone shooting the studios. I was shooting product. That product I just rented out a spot, and I was alone. So like I'm doing all this on my terms too. So I'm trying to be as smart as possible. I'm for sure scared, just for the simple fact that it's my parents. Like if it was for me, I'd be cool. But like I hadn't seen my parents for like 3 months, and I saw them for the first time last week.
Wow, really?
Yeah, so like I was like trying to be super precautious. I had gotten tested and everything, but I have another test tomorrow.
That's
actually.
important to keep getting
just
tested.
to like, you know, I went on a bike ride with a few homies, but I know they get tested, and we're always away from each other. Like we're not driving together, we're not anything, so we just meet at a park and we'll, you know, ride together. But just for safety precaution, you know, you ride by somebody cough, you don't know, some hits you or something. So definitely just try and be as precautious as possible. Be as free testing, man. People take advantage of that.
Yeah, you can't beat that.
I mean, go to Israel's Israel Shoots. He just uploaded a video on like doing your COVID test, man.
Yeah.
Shout out Israel. Yeah, man. See,
That's
I just be on YouTube watching a bunch of shit, man. Everybody's cool. It's something to do. So
yeah, definitely.
But yeah, stay safe for sure, man. That thing it for sure scares me, but just try and keep your parents safe. Don't be stupid. Everybody out there partying and doing stuff and doing all that. Keep a face mask on. Just for your family, man. If it ain't for you and you're being dumb, that's cool, but don't expose it to your family.
Yeah, that would be the worst thing, because you constantly hear stories. I've heard stories about people's parents dying that may have got it from their children,
bro,
and that's scary as shit. I don't know what I would do if that happened to me.
I don't know how I'd feel, man. So that's why I'm just trying to stay on top of everything. Trying to be, if I don't feel good, I ain't going nowhere. If, you know, trying to stay
protect
safe.
Others too, man.
Yeah, for sure. Let people know if you're feeling sick, y'all.
Yep. All right, man. Well, shit, I appreciate it. You definitely dropped a lot of good knowledge for us. Any last words for the audience?
No, man. Just appreciate you guys. Appreciate you,
of course,
for giving us all a platform. Shout out to all the homies that have been out here.
On
here. But yeah, stay safe. Happy Juneteenth.
Yes, sir. Looking forward to continue to watching your journey.
Bless.
That's
I appreciate you, OG.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.